Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Innovative Ideas to increase engagement in your library's digital resources. We're so happy to have so many people interested in today's topic. We actually have hundreds of people joining us. I can see they're still coming in now, but we are at the top of the hour, so let's get started. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at NewsBank, and joining me today is Tony Lamb. Tony is a Technology and Collection Support Services librarian at Santa Ana Public Library in California.
Hello.
Tony, it's so good to see you again.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is exciting and such an honor.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Just to let people kind of know, we hope to have a casual conversation today about a common challenge faced by many libraries and librarians, and share some of Tony's strategies and ideas that he's found helpful in getting more patrons into digital resources. For the audience, I just want to let you know that it is being recorded and you'll receive a copy of today's session via email. If you have any questions or thoughts to share, ideas to share, if you'll see in the gray bar there, it's called questions or chat on some people's, just type it in there and we'll do our best to incorporate and share your thoughts, ideas, get to your questions throughout our time today. Tony, I thought to start, it might be helpful to know a bit more about the people who are in our audience. So we have a quick poll, a quick question to ask our audience. If you would please share with us which position most closely describes your role at your library. Is it perhaps as a director, executive director, electronic resources librarian, archivist, marketing and communications staff, or if it's something else, please feel free to add it into that question chat box. We'll give you a moment to answer. Get to the results in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to close the poll. Right, and let's take a look here. We can see that we have 19% in a director type of role, 26% in the electronic resources, no archivists, 15% in the marketing and communications staff. That's great to see, and then 39% other. Thank you for responding to that.
Interesting.
Tony, yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. No archivist. No, I say archivist. But I belong to the 26%. But that is, yeah, that is interesting.
Yes. Well, about your library and your role as a technology collection support service librarian.
Sure, absolutely. With Santa Ana Public Library, California, here we served roughly 350,000 folks, and within the demographics is 78% Hispanic or Spanish-speaking household, and roughly about 14% Asian, and the majority are Vietnamese users and Chinese. And we have 2 branches. Library is extremely busy, and the e-resources we have here, it's gradually people start using. The pandemic is interesting. So it's presented a situation where people, you know, it's sort of like the number you can see where people during the pandemic, the last 2 years, where people are trapped inside and they need resources, and I think they do appreciate that the libraries have these resources available online, virtually, of course. So that was interesting. So essentially, that is the essence of library. Someone's not gonna do it. I'll be right back. Hold on. So that is the library. I am also the e-resources librarian here handling e-resources. I'll be right back.
You can answer the door, no problem. Hey, Said you're a busy guy. We totally understand.
Oh, right. Okay, so anyway, I'm in the shared office, so
It's real life, you know.
yeah.
I'm sure everyone can relate. I can. Yes.
So anyhow, so
Yeah.
those are the just a rough general information about Santa Ana Public Library.
Sort of, yeah. What you're up. So, talk a little bit about sort of how did you decide, or what were the motivating factors in getting digital resources into the hands of more patrons?
In terms of what you mean, like in terms of how we
How did you decide that, hey, we're going to focus on promoting our e-resources, and how did you go about then doing that?
Okay. The idea is that, like I said, I think the pandemic presented a lot because we see that we also see the drop in e-resource usage right after the pandemic. It's not over, but sort of like open up, because people are more interested in other things to pursue in terms of activities, e-resources. We see a little drop on that. So we decided, you can't, you can't get them unless you come to them. So one of the idea is that we're trying to focus is a lot of people. We want to target it first, the people who have access with technology, the teen, the young age people. But then we also see the lack of service to the especially the senior citizen, and that's what we want. We wanted to focus on the senior citizens demographics first, because there's a lot of there's not a lot of resources available within these demographics, and with it, like for example, NewsBank would be an amazing um, resources for the senior citizens to do search for past articles of the news or reading the news and so on. So we have this program called the Upper Hour at the Senior Center. We have two senior center here, one in the Southwest and one here nearby the library. We also have other senior center that we're going to focus on. Asian American senior centers is around here, but they're a little bit more cautious with COVID safety and all that. So we focus those places, and twice a month we would visit them, as you can see the flyer below, and then we would just focus on each resources as we visit. So we present it. I mean, the first thing we do is also help them with the technology in order to use the resource they need to have a library card, or they need to know how to access on the website, those kind of things. So along with the e-resources, we also present an opportunity for them to learn in terms of technologies and online resources, and that include NewsBank. So that we trying to communicate it on the base, very, very basic information. Don't want to overload with too many technical terms. We also, for PR, we got flyers, we got bookmarks and so on. So that is our approach now, and that is our current focus in terms of the demographics. And then we would probably branch out to other demographics in terms of like, teens, children, and also a lot of the reason I'm surprised is archivists not in this survey, because this is a part of sort of like NewsBank. It's part of archival kind of e-resources. So those are, in essence, those are the things that we're working on right now. So.
When you decided to focus on particularly the senior centers, then how did you go about that, and how did you get it actually up and running?
Okay, so what happened is one of the principal librarians and she worked with, because make it easy, usually uh, library, we used to be part of the community services, and one of the most, sometimes senior centers are run by community services staff, and that make it easy in terms of communication and connection. And if you don't have that, I mean, you can always, you know, establish that communication relationship kind of with the person in charge at the whatever senior center, whatever place that you want to visit. I mean, it. So we establish communication. We would, let's say, we would like to visit you twice a month, and would like to bring e-resources to these people, and we set the day and the time, and then we organize of what we need to talk about that day for each month. So I would say number one is to establish communication, and just to, you can talk, if you are one of the outreach people, you can go out there and communicate with the person in charge of whatever place you are trying to get outreach to in terms of e-resources.
How big is your outreach staff?
Well, when I say outreach staff, it's meaning that every single of us at a road, we have principal librarian involved of setting up the established communication. We have, you know, and then we work together with librarians, we call it tutors, library technicians, and assistant to sort of set up with the, usually it depends on the center. So I speak Vietnamese and a little bit Chinese, and then we sort of cater the need who can speak Spanish. So it depends on your needs, and our staff composes a variety of people with different roles, and it just usually is two librarians, me and the other librarians, and then a library assistant or library tech, or sometimes a couple of tutors.
That's great. So you have a lot of different people you can call on for different programs.
And they not, when I say outreach, I don't mean like we have specific outreach department or whatnot, but it's just that everybody is taking the different roles in playing, you know, getting the usage of our resources.
That's great to have support from different areas.
Right.
You touched a little bit on marketing and how you actually get the information then out to the audience you're trying to attract. I thought I would ask the audience another quick poll question about how your library right now is promoting digital resources, and you can answer all that apply. If it's, you know, your library's website or newsletters or, you know, handouts or flyers, bookmarks. Tony, you mentioned we're going to show a great example of one of his bookmarks coming up. Social media, growing, very popular. And if you have other ideas, please, other strategies, please feel free to add those into the chat. Collect some response. Okay, I'm going to close the poll here. And let's see. Our results are, yep, so 97% add it to the library website, 72% electronic or paper newsletters, 83% handouts like bookmarks or flyers, 78% social media, and 9% other. Great, so library website obviously really standing out as the number one there. And handouts like flyers and bookmarks, Tony. Maybe it's a good time to talk about one of your other ideas, this bookmark that you created.
Absolutely, yes. Interesting. Okay. Okay.
So particularly, yes, with the happy hour or appy hour, you know, how did you let people know that was going on at the senior center so that people knew to show up?
Oh yeah. So as I said, we plan the dates out ahead of a month ahead, so we give them a bunch of dates, and so the center would let their clients know that would come in. And once you establish that relationship where they kind of know expected what time and all that, so let's say it's every other week, then they understand that. The other thing is that one of the things we find that, that's difficult for seniors to, you know, how they input the long URL kind of thing, you know, in terms of how to, and that make it a little bit complicated for them. So we created a QR code where they can just scan the QR code, and that make it easy. And for each week, for example, we would explain to them what NewsBank is, and we would show them how to do it. Sometimes one-on-one, even though you show them on screen, and you have to show them one-on-one also. And you know, it's very exciting that they have they get access to this archive of newspapers and all that. It's really exciting. But then the thing is that that you have to make it easier for these people to access in terms of, because the complexity of enters it. I mean, not only for us, but for the seniors, too many steps. So when they they scan the QR, and it just immediately goes to the website where NewsBank is, and they can immediately access right there, instead of going to the library website and then click on e-resource and click on newspaper. That's an extra step there. So that's one of the ways to create that. And I think to have a bookmark is much better in terms of portability, just carrying a large flyer and all that kind of things. You know, we try to downsize it in a way that that's easy for them to put it in their purse and their bags and their you know, whatnot. It just to simplify it. Number one is to simplify that, so access should be easy as one step as much as possible. So that's the other thing we want to do. And the other thing is we try to have the Spanish, Vietnamese translate, because of course, due to the population of these languages are being spoken here in the community. So that is we.
I noticed that on the bottom, yes, of your flyer. I don't know if it's big enough for everyone to see on your computer, but yes, that there's. Do you make flyers?
Yeah.
Yeah. In 3 different languages for each one, or is it something that's?
Yeah, we have separate for each one the flyer itself. Yes, I am the main translator for the Vietnamese, and then we have other Spanish speakers who translate. So yeah, including everything in here, most of the thing here, calendar, everything, because that is the majority of our clientele, who the demographics that I said from the beginning, 78% Spanish speaking and 14% age.
Question about creating the marketing materials. Now, is that something that you do, or do you have a communications teams, or how does that all come together?
We have the communication team, so specifically, so the person who had the program or creating a program like APIA would be go to. We have the person who handle communication, PR, flyers, and social media specifically, and she's doing a great job. So like I saw the survey, you know, social media is also important. Like I said, although we specifically targeted the demographics, the senior citizen, we also trying to target other demographics, social media, the Gen Z and all those millennials and whatnot. People are still using a lot of social. I mean, if they don't know what you have, they will not use it. Simply as that. So the idea is most people are not aware of that. You know, we don't have NewsBank or we don't have other e-resources. That you have to make them aware of. You have to present that opportunity for them to be aware that what's available out there. And one way is to communicate, and just put it out there in social media. And the library website is also important, but it's not really reaching a lot of people, but it depends on how you organize it. You put the e-resource to the forefront, then people will see it right away. And if you just kind of keep it category like drop down menu and all that, it might be hard for people to see it. So anyhow, yes.
Yeah, that's actually, I have a screenshot of your library's e-resources page. Okay, good, I'm sharing the right one here. That's actually a great segue into sort of some of your other ideas that are very innovative, but I pulled this from your library's website. If you want to, almost all of these have a technology component. If you would share a little bit about each one of these and how you're using technology to drive more people just in general into the library, plus digital resources.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think so for the tech service department, we handled the whole thing with the exception of the knowledge mobile, which is bookmobile. So also bookmobile play an important part of your like they carry out information to the community by visiting different places where people have difficult access to library. That can be a lack of transportation or whatnot. In the neighborhood, there's below poverty where they don't have computer, they do not have technology to access resources. So bookmobile, or we call it the knowledge mobile, which we will get the second one soon. Doing also an important part of getting information out there in terms of e-resources for people. But then you can get the information, but the majority of people, there is still a digital divide out there in terms of especially underprivileged neighborhoods. So we do that we have Chromebooks for people to check out, and we have a Chromebook kit which includes a hotspot, an ear set, and also a mouse, and then also so that they can get access without worry about not having Wi-Fi. We have 500 Chromebooks for them to check out. So we also have laptop here in the library available, and we have think also when I visit the senior, we also bring iPad tablets and other Samsung tablets and other Chromebook for them to play on too. And then Library of Things is like I showed Catherine before the meeting. It's just a library of a lot of things. So also e-library, of course, we advertise along with that because it's important for us to get the people to know the resources that we have available online. Hotspots. We have a lot of hotspots, Verizon and T-Mobile. So we have, I don't know exactly how many we have, but quite a lot, and constantly checked out. And then we have also laptop dispensing kiosks throughout the libraries, and they can borrow that. That's a full laptop. And those are the ways that we're trying to make technology available so that people can access to e-resources. And I think if you can teach people, but there's no way they don't have the hardware to reach to where they want, that can be fruitless. So I would say, we're trying to make it easy for them to access e-resources and online resources as much as possible.
The accessibility is certainly an issue, and to have the resources, I think it's very smart in the library, but also the remote access for those who have a harder time actually, getting to the library. But I want to know more about the laptop dispensing kiosk. This is a whole new concept to me. Is it really just like you're getting a Coke out of a vending machine, or how does that work?
Well, you can see on the I don't know. You can see you all can see the picture on the kiosk there. So each kiosk has 6 laptops. So you just simply scan your card, just like a self-checkout machine. You scan your card, and then you have to agree. There's an agreement that you have to agree, and then you press that, and then the laptop just pop out gently, enough for you to grab that laptop and just use throughout the library. You cannot check it outside the library, so you have to use it throughout, so you can use the library's Wi-Fi there, and you can, yeah, that's just in-house services. That's why,
Right.
like I said, if you want a laptop that you can take home, we have Chromebooks and laptop kits for you to take it home with the whole kit, including Wi-Fi, including hotspot for you. So earphones and many others, extra components for you to use it with ease. Hopefully, access the library online resources. So yes.
Those are excellent. Wow, what wonderful resources you have there. Building on your comment about people don't know that the resources exist. Of course, they aren't going to access them. We had a great comment and suggestion from Tom that he says that they also offer virtual webinars to staff to make sure that the library staff is familiar with resources, because then they help market them on to the public, which is a great idea in terms of making sure that the staff is informed. I don't know if everyone knows this, but NewsBank, if you're a customer of NewsBank, we offer complimentary customized trainings. So if you want to gather your team, and whether you have new staff or people need a refresher, or they just, perhaps they want to know more about NewsBank, we will do a customized training for your library and your too. So that's an open note to anyone. You can reach out to me. You've gotten the email addresses, and we'll help connect you and get something like that set up. But Tom, thanks for bringing that up. It's a great idea. If the staff isn't familiar with them, that's your number one champions.
And that is a great point. I'm sorry. That's a great point too, because I think just to reiterate what Tom said, that if you that's first and foremost, your staff need to know what's there, because if they don't know, then how they're going to promote to the public. And I think it's an important component to getting people to use that.
Absolutely. So Tony, thinking about the outreach, going back to that, some of the outreach programs, and like the Happy Hour at the Senior Center, when did you kind of kick those off? When did that start?
We just started about a year ago, right after, just recently, a year, almost not even a year yet, about 8 months ago. Yeah, because we kind of see that after COVID kind of dropped out a little bit, I wouldn't say normalized, but and then there's a lot of people don't really. I mean, we understand that there's things going on after COVID, kind of thing. So a library, uh, let's be honest, library is the lowest priority for people to go to and then kind of explore on the website. And we kind of sort of like, we need something to reach out with safety, of course, to reach out and say, hey, we're still here for you. We still have a lot of resources. So that was the idea, is to bring something, like also a gentle reminder that, there's a lot of great resources on the library. Sometimes I think when you've been through that 2-year trauma, and then you take so many emotions to process, and I think people sort of like, what do I do first once it's okay for them to get out there? And then we realize, because we start to focus on the senior demographic, because they are one of the groups that that's still trapped because without transportation, without any kind of programs that 2 years, a lot of them don't have access to that. And so I think
Fear of getting sick, sure, sure.
exactly. So I think for us to kind of give them a sense of how can I say it? How can I put it? Sense of security, sense of kind of, hey, they still care about us, so that we bring these resources to them. So that's the first demographic we want to focus on. And then the other people who can drive, who can do access to the library, we started talking to them too, but through different platforms. So.
Are there any, so over the course of the last year, what are some of the lessons learned, or what are you doing differently today than perhaps when you started?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of, I've been working in the library work for 25 years, so it's quite interesting as something as big as like the pandemic happened, and it does change a lot in terms of how people view in terms of library accessibility. So I would say number one is patience, is the ideas of, when you come to people, I mean, they still processing. So sort of like, so you have to give it time, patience. Our numbers ups and down. It's not really high number, but it's pretty low number. But still, when you keep at it, and then they gradually coming back to the library. So, the other thing is that like patient, because I think not only senior citizen but other people sometimes they lost. Kind of funny how people trapped in there and they kind of forget that language of how the library functions in terms of library card, access online, those kind of things. Some people kind of forget, not because they have amnesia or something, because they haven't used it or think about it for 2 years. So those are the kind of things. Number one is patience.
Absolutely, and yeah, out of sight, out of mind, which is, yeah, I think again that visibility is so important. I know one of the things that we had talked about in one of our previous conversations too is trying different dates or times. So it might not be the program, it just might be the day or the time it's being offered can sometimes influence the number of attendees.
Absolutely. And it can be daunting, but again, you have to work with the community liaison that you're involved with. And we kind of work it out. We change days a lot because, for example, Fridays can be a lot of huge gathering for special Father's Day, Mother's Day. Usually they do it before the weekend. And then, Zumba dancing session, you can't compete with that. So you sort of have to work with the person, the representative from your whatever community center you work on, whatever organization you're working with. You kind of have to coordinate with what's best for you. And they should know what kind of program, and usually we're still tweaking it as we go. So like I said, the numbers fluctuated, low to high sometimes, and then so for example, we just found out that they have computer classes an hour before that. That's a killer for us. So we trying to get to combine, like, if you after you finish the computer class, can you invite us into and have a Q&A one-on-one with them, so that they, or if we can be just like a guest presenter kind of thing. So you have to work it out along with different people, because there's a lot involved, and the people who work in the centers or the organization should know better in terms of what day it's working for you, what the time is working for you. And usually in the morning, people, and again, it depends on the demographic that you are serving. For the senior citizens, we consider they have no access to transportation. So whoever dropped them at a certain time, in this example, there's a free lunch period, you can capture that audience. They come to the center for lunch, or they come to the center for in the morning for some kind of breakfast and whatnot. So those are the kind of things we kind of take into considerations.
And can people, do you bring your own device? How does that work?
Yes, the people can bring their own device. Most of the time, that's what we helping with. We ended up helping with, But we started to think about being more organized in terms of topic and kind of leave time off at the end, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, like a one-on-one, so that they have that session. It's important because I think for older learning, I think one-on-one is better than just a group where they just don't know how to navigate through the technology. So it's important to have someone with them one-on-one in terms of navigating through online resources and technologies. So.
Incredible service. Tony, we have a couple of questions coming in, and so I'm gonna pause for a moment, and if others have ideas to share or questions, now's a great time. How do you measure the success with your e-resource promotion? Which methods of promotion seem to have the largest impact?
Okay, so through statistics. That's the thing is, number one is through statistic. But then, to be honest with you, the idea that, is numbers is important, but also the satisfactions that you really help one or two or three people even that and get through that, and then they get excited about learning. Oh my God, I can get NewsBank or any resources to get excitement about it. The discovery, when you see the face of excitement of discovering new resources they didn't know that available on, as simple as, for example, I have people asking me about Uber Eats. That's not non-related. McDonald's app, how do I use my points to get more fries? Or how do I redeem my free fries? Those are the things that seem a little bit silly, but it's really for the demographic that we work with, it's extremely important. I told Catherine, I believe, I'm not sure, Shirley or you, but it's like sort of like when they discovered NewsBank, it's like, oh, I did not know, all the newspaper and all that kind of thing. That's the other way to access news and that kind of thing. But so measuring success is, we of course we keep statistic of that, and that's how you evaluate this. I don't want to use the word success, sort of like what's working, because sort of like I said, the numbers fluctuate differently. But don't give up, hang in there. It's important program, and what is that movie, Field of Dream, Kevin Costner? If you build, they will come.
I like that. I like that.
So yes.
And then, when you're in your first year, a lot of times it's just building that kind of the baseline. You don't always know what exactly to expect, so you keep trying different things until it starts to click. And
again, I was an adult service librarian before, and I do program. Adults seem to be very fickle in terms of programming, and usually take a long time to build that audience. And then once you build that audience, you kind of get the information out there, disseminate the information out, and then kind of drill in their head that we have a lot of this resource, NewsBank and other resources. And I think they will come around, and then
So that you feel like you're having an impact.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, Tony, we're coming up close to our time. We'd love to have you stick around a bit longer, but as we wrap up here today, I just want to say thank you again for sharing these really fun ideas and the idea of appy hour. And I mean, even just getting down to those basics of what is an app and what are they for, that is just, and going out into the community, doing it on their device or bringing a device to them, increasing that accessibility. It's really fantastic to hear from you and learn from you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I just want to say that it's still a learning curve for us. It's still a learning experience for us. So we're trying to do, we're trying to get more ideas as we go, and I'm sure all of you have wonderful ideas out there. And just be patient and keep on with it.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Tony. And I mentioned NewsBank that we offer the training sessions, and I certainly encourage you to take advantage of that. I put my email address in the Q&A, so everyone has it there easily. You can reach out to me. I'll also put all the follow-up links in the email that you'll get tomorrow with the recording of this session. And I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with we have a marketing resource center where we have all sorts of ideas to help build that visibility for your NewsBank resources. And, feel free to use them for others, but no. But such as, graphics to customize your website. We have bookmarks you can customize. Ready to use social media posts. This is a really popular one. That we actually each month we will email you several ready-to-use social media posts that have fun facts about a particular day in history right now with Hispanic History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. We have several ready-to-use posts and ideas to build upon your library's programming. We have all sorts of interesting ways to build visibility. And link to NewsBank articles, so it really ties back into the resource. So that's a popular one, and if you want to sign up, we'll get it to you each month. We have these graphics that you can build presence on your website, as I mentioned, or you can even pop them into a newsletter. We have videos that you can share out on your social media or include in a newsletter that shows people just an overview of the resources or how to use them. So please feel free, share, put on your own YouTube channel. Again, I will put all of these in the email follow-up to you tomorrow so that you can hop right in and start using them. And if you have questions, let us know. We'll be happy to help. So we hope we found today's session valuable and that you have some new, actionable, innovative ways to increase the use of your library's digital resources. As you log out today, you'll see a brief survey. Please take a moment to let us know what you thought about today's session, how we can improve in the future, share ideas with us. We'd love to collect them, gather them, and continue to share them out and grow our resource center. So we appreciate your time. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tony. Good to see you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.